Rich people are given $7,000 subsidies to buy luxury electric. We can be energy independent, and we can even be energy dominant. And yes, Quickly says that President Trump is saying you will be energy dominant very soon. We are a nation that... I didn't need this. I had a very nice life. Nice Saturday afternoon. I could tell you, if I weren't doing this, where I would have been in a very nice location.
But I would tell the speaker that he's got to make sure that, you know, him and his team, they lock in on some of these votes because we don't have a lot of time left. The next major hurdle in front of us is going to be government funding. What are we going to do around that? And are we going to allow this government to be funded if the border remains unsecured? Because the primary job of the United States government is to secure this nation. And if it is failing at that, the way Joe Biden is failing at that, does it deserve to get funding across the board? Many members of Congress don't agree. I don't agree with that. If Joe Biden wants to fund the government, simply secure the border, and we could be done.
I cooperated with the very unfriendly and hostile feds. I cooperated far more than Biden did, who sent records to Chinatown. Biden fought them all the way. I didn't. They're trying to make it the other way. No, Biden fought them very hard, and they never got what they wanted to get anyway. I even gave the DOJ and the FBI lunch at Mar-a-Lago. You know, they say I didn't behave. I gave them lunch. I said, have lunch at beautiful Mar-a-Lago.
Well, look, I have no doubt that once you get in, we secure the border, we finish the wall, we put back Title 42, they have to wait on the other side, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you're going to need to deport tens of millions, it seems like. Yep. I think 10 million have come in. Another 10 million may come in from now through the day you're sworn in on January 20th, 2025. Then there's the gotaways. You might have to deport 20 or 30 million. Can you do that?
We have to get them out. It's not sustainable.
They asked me that question. One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills. But you have illegal taxpayer-funded lawyers, so they have millions of dollars in this agreement, in this deal, which we, by the way, killed. I think we killed it. I think it's dead. But you can never say it because bad bills always come back to life because these guys make a lot of money with bad bills. But they give millions, tens of millions of dollars, it's down there, to lawyers to represent the illegal immigrants that come into our country. It's not even believable. During my 4 years, nothing happened, and there was great pressure on me having to do with guns. We did nothing. We didn't yield. And once you yield a little bit, that's just the beginning. That's the avalanche begins.
Pull us out of NATO. You know, in fact, American troops were stationed throughout Europe as they are today. They were then as well. But he's telling a story, and frankly, look, Donald Trump is not a member of the Council of Foreign Relations. He doesn't talk like a traditional politician. And we've already been through this now. You'd think people would have figured it out by now. What he's basically saying is, if you see the comments, he said NATO was broke or busted until he took over because people weren't paying their dues. And then he told the story about how he used leverage to get people to step up to the plate and become more active in NATO. He's not the first American president. In fact, virtually every American president at some point in some way has complained about other countries in NATO not doing enough. You know, Trump's just the first one to express it in these terms. But I have zero concern because he's been president before. I know exactly what he has done and will do with the NATO alliance. But there has to be an alliance. It's not America's defense with a bunch of small junior partners. Some of these are big countries with big economies. Many of them are doing more. The Germans are doing a lot right now.
So it has the ability to pass legislation.
And we did.
But let's talk about the vice presidency, because you just said that you would be willing to serve in a Trump administration. Had you been vice president on January 6, 2021, what would you have done?
I stood up for the Constitution. I believe it was
what would you have done if you were vice president?
I would not have done what Mike Pence did. I don't think that was the right approach. I specifically stand by what I said on the House floor, and I stand by my statement, which was there was unconstitutional overreach. There was unconstitutional. constitutional overreach in states like Pennsylvania. And I think it's very important that we continue to stand up for the Constitution and have legal and secure elections, which we did not have in 2020. And the tens of millions of Americans agree with me, Caitlin.
Well, I would say the Supreme Court in the state of Pennsylvania said that Republican passed changes to their law was constitutional. But it's notable.
I've never seen such witness intimidation as what I saw today. And it wasn't necessarily from the Democrat staff who were leading the deposition. It was from the members. It was from Jamie Raskins. It was from Goldman. It was from Garcia. It was from Crockett. They were there. They were wagging their fingers. They were pointing. They were yelling. They were calling Tony Bobulinski a liar. They were telling him to shut up. Wow. Tony Bobulinski is an American hero.
It's not a quick fix that and the executive can just wave his wand and take care of it immediately. We do need to pass laws to give him tools or force him to the table and to give a hopefully future President Trump tools. But the bottom line is they don't have any interest in sitting down at the table. Their interest is the chaos created by wide open borders. It is purposeful. It is being designed to flood the zone, to remake America. It's not just political. They want to remake America. They want to end Western civilization. They want to flood the zone with people from all over the world at a time when we have 50 million people who are foreign born in the United States. They are doing this for a reason. It is crass. Frankly, my Democratic colleagues are now the colonizers. They're going around trying to force their will and their beliefs on everybody around the world, including, for example, countries in Africa who dare to say that marriage is between one man and one woman. These Democrats are radicals. They want to remake our country, and they're doing it right now at our southern border. Republicans need to lock arms and stand up and defend the border instead of just preaching about the border and campaigning on it. They need to stand up and do.
This was the individual that had claimed that he had been told by somebody who ran Burisma that Joe Biden himself was going to get $5 million for all these shady dealings.
Right.
This is the guy that Senator Chuck Grassley was insisting that this FBI report be revealed to the public.
Correct.
This was the guy who basically provided hours worth of content on Fox, especially in prime time. This was the guy who, James Comer, the guy who runs the House Oversight Committee, was relying on as a major source of information. And the FBI is saying the guy's a liar. In fact, so much so we're charging him with a crime.
Correct. And is that all of that was fictitious. He came up with this story after Joe Biden became the presumptive candidate for the Democrats in 2020. And of course, after he had already gone to Republicans to make some of those allegations to Chuck Grassley and to others.
Yeah,
Probably love that. We love to give people the day off of work, and we love to have paper ballots. We don't have it right now. So we need to bank enough votes going into Election Day that we aren't trying to play catch up that day. We know things happen. Look at what happened in Arizona. Here's what I can tell you. The RNC needs to be the leanest, most lethal political fighting machine we've ever seen in American history. That is the goal over the next 9.5 months. If I am elected to this position, I can assure you there will not be any more $70,000 or whatever exorbitant amount of money it was spent on flowers. Every single penny will go to the number one and the only job of the RNC. That is electing Donald J. Trump as president of the United States and saving this country. We have no time to waste. We've got to get to work. We've got a lot of money to raise, and we need to ensure that every penny goes to those things that I just mentioned. Otherwise, you're right, in perpetuity, the Democrats are going to beat us.
Yeah, we